Hello and welcome everyone to Player Zero's Battle Network Tournament. So it is real. This is the first Battle Network tournament in the N1 GP, and every single VOD, as promised, will be a double VOD today, thanks to the new feature that weenie added to China. So throughout this tournament, you'll hopefully find out why I think Battle Network 1 is actually good PvP. It has the mind games, it has the execution, and it has the fan favorite interrupt as well. So what more can you ask for? And as for the upcoming week, so make sure to keep an eye out, because I might be hosting Battle Network 4.5 tournament soon, which should be exciting. So that tournament will be using the patch that Gregor Master had for PvP, and that improves a lot of things, and it's very cool. Yeah, you can play with a lot of different navies. That pretty much is the only game where you can play them. And without further ado, let's head into the setups for our first match today with ChinaTV vs GMERC. Okay, so as you can see, these setups might be a bit unusual if you're used to Battle Network 6. So the list is very short and it has more than 5 chips for some of them. So basically, the way Battle Network 1 works is that there is no chip limit. The only chip limit is 10, and that applies to every single chip in the game. So you can have 10 of Anubis, 10 of Area Grab or Steal in this game, or 10 of Cannon 1 if you really want. And you might think that there isn't really much going on, but in reality, each chip has like different ways that they can contribute to the match. So from these two builds, you can see both are running Anubis and Interrupt, Recover 300s, and Steals. These are very common, and you probably will expect to see them throughout the whole tournament. As for the different decisions that they decide to go through, so ChinaTV's go with Body Burn, Ring Zap Hurricane, whereas GMERC is going with Big Wave, Ring Zap again, and the Life Aura, which isn't. So Life Aura is different in this game compared to the other games, in that Life Aura literally doesn't expire and has 100 HP. Body Burn is going to be used to try to destroy Anubis. So the game is basically going to revolve around who can land their Anubis and their Interrupt first. And if you've seen the Battle Network, the Blood Moon PC edition, then you might know about some of the unique game mechanics that Battle Network 1 has. But I'm going to explain more as we go into the match. And before we start the first match, I do want to give quick shout outs to the donations we've received since last stream and during today's stream. So Yamland Hero continuing their monthly donations, and Tatus donating $3 today, saying help. And I wonder what they mean. Alright, and without further ado, let's head into our first match of the day. Alright, so looking at the first match, so we do have these double votes, so make sure to keep an eye on both POVs so you can tell. And this is one of the things I really like. I mean, okay, maybe this isn't the best start to showcase that, but Battle Network 1 has great mind games. Basically, so to start with, every single field in Battle Network 1 starts with 2 cubes. So it's very good for attempting to hide Anubis behind. If you look at GMERC's side on the right, you can see that they have more than 10 chips, more than 5 chips. And that's because they used the add button in the previous step. So this is a unique mechanic in Battle Network 1, where by using add and taking no chips, you will get 5 extra chips in your custom. But taking more chips will reset that. So for this turn, ChinaTV decided, so they might get interrupted, so they wanted to use add instead, because they have the Anubis set. They're prepared. So they did that, and now they gained an advantage after that turn instead of potentially risking losing their chips. So this is part of the mind games that I was talking about. Now they can see 5 extra chips into their turn and can think about maybe taking their own interrupt or other options as well. Maybe using another ad. So GMERC is going to go with a bit of an offensive turn as well. So looking for that interrupt is going to be very vital. And another thing that the ad adds into the game, which is, so now you can see what ChinaTV's next hand will be, because you know they only used 1 chip from the original 5. Ooh, and they managed to get down their own interrupt. So now GMERC is going to have to try to destroy that cube. I'm not sure if it has a special name. And the HP is draining very quickly. Ooh, so GMERC in Twitch chat is saying that they might have been locked out because of the area, because of the ring zap they used last time. So another interesting thing about Battle Torque 1 is that literally everything that hits flinches and flash. So you can see these buster shots and charge shots, they apply flashing and flinching. But that also adds to what makes Battle Torque 1 interesting, because you can use that to flinch your opponent near the end of turn and then confirm your interrupt at the beginning, or confirm a chip sequence at the beginning. Let's see who gets their interrupt. Ooh, ChinaTV's been getting a lot of interrupts this game. So you'll have to see how GMERC will have to adapt. There is the Hurricane, which I believe would be Tornado range. I don't actually know how that works. Oh, I guess never mind, that's interrupt. Okay, GMERC's playing it safe instead of going for the interrupt play, which doesn't seem like they have any recoveries. So I'm not actually sure how much damage Anubis can do in 1 turn. But this might be a bit risky. But woo, look at this field. So now we can see ChinaTV is trapped in place. This might allow GMERC to survive into the next turn. Ooh, barely. I think they might have been very close. They might have been able to mash LNR to go into the custom and survive. Okay, so in this hand we can see that ChinaTV has no interrupts, so they don't want to take a risk of taking any chips, and instead will decide to see how things will go into this turn. Oh no, so GMERC drops Anubis, so that's one of the things in this game as well. Using any object on top of another object will completely destroy it. So unfortunately, GMERC's Anubis there got completely nullified. Ooh, and now we still see that hand with no interrupt. So we'll see if ChinaTV decides to go for another ad or maybe a bit of an offensive turn. They can get that steal down. So the air grab would flinch GMERC and allow them to step back, use their own Anubis, and they wouldn't really have to worry about losing other chips. So actually, GMERC is behind the cube, so yeah, that wouldn't work. I think the safe play here for ChinaTV is just go with an ad, or maybe take 1 Anubis, try to step back and use it. Yeah. And now GMERC is having their own Anubis in play. ChinaTV only has to deal with 1 cube compared to the 2 cube that GMERC had to deal with in the previous game. But 1 turn is barely enough time for them to destroy. So you might be wondering, why would ChinaTV or GMERC in the previous game use buster shots instead of charge shots? And the reason for that is charge shots are very easy to interrupt, and buster shots are very quick, so they do quite a bit of damage. Now GMERC is going to be standing in front of that cube, trying to protect it, in front of that Anubis, trying to protect it. Ooh, interrupt coming down, and now the recovery is coming down for ChinaTV, which should prove very helpful. Ooh, let's see if they do drop their own Anubis. Now that might force GMERC to move away from protecting their own. So it looks like they are set on standing there. ChinaTV does have slightly more HP, so it will be interesting to see who's going to be forced into action first. Ooh, both sides are going for the ad. They're expecting the other player to use interrupt, but no interrupts are coming out yet. Ooh, nice being able to land that charge shot. Ooh, there is that interrupt from GMERC, but nothing for ChinaTV, so GMERC might end up just taking that interrupt just to see what they have. Yep. And ChinaTV's going to go for a bit of a risky play. So that Hurricane is interesting, because they can use that now to potentially destroy the Anubis without having to deal with GMERC's positioning. They probably want to take recoveries, but the issue is that, yeah, it's going to be very risky to go without an interrupt, because you get interrupted fast. GMERC using recoveries, going back to almost 800 HP. Ooh, nice. That will bring down ChinaTV's HP, but there is still potential. Battle Network 1 is a very good game for comeback, because at any given turn you can just suddenly use your own recoveries or plenty of other chips and do a lot of damage. Ooh, nice, and that tornado does the job. Now GMERC is going to be forced to stay still. Ooh. So ChinaTV trying to go for the end of turn interrupt, but unfortunately barely misses that. But now interrupt comes down from GMERC, but there is no follow-up. At least not yet. Ooh, the second still is going down. So another thing about Battle Network 1 is that you can actually gain control of every single panel your opponent has. So you can have a full field for you. Oh, unfortunately, I don't think ChinaTV is going to be able to survive. Yeah, that will take us into game 3. Alright, looks like ChinaTV is starting with interrupt. So this is that same field we started with again. This is a pretty brutal field, if I'm honest. Ooh, and looks like the interrupt goes off. Step back into Anubis. Classic playerzero. That's pretty much what you want to see when you're playing. Oh, now GMERC is forced to try to buster down these cubes. They do have their own interrupt and potential recoveries they might be able to mash out. ChinaTV is thinking about going into an ad, maybe thinking about interrupt. So this position, both sides thinking about what the other could have. Ooh, I think this is a bit risky, deciding against taking any of the recoveries and not moving through his folder. So interrupt does come down, but I'm not sure if GMERC will be able to destroy the Anubis. He does retaliate with his own, trying to pay ChinaTV to move away, trying to get an interrupt, but they're just standing in position. And now ChinaTV is deciding to go with their own interrupt, potentially area play. So these cubes, they're basically special cubes that come with Battle Network 1, and I believe they are only in Battle Network 1. Something from the sky, yeah, don't worry about that. These are Rock Cube. I believe they have more HP than the normal Rock Cubes. I'm not actually sure if they do. Oh, they do have more HP. Okay, makes sense. And yeah, the Anubis is doing quite a lot of damage. This interrupt is going to be crucial. So if ChinaTV is able to land the interrupt, then they might be able to close it right there. Like 5 Rock Cubes pieced together. Ooh, the interrupt does land. Let's see if there is enough damage. I think in this position, GMERC would have wanted to try to focus their damage into breaking these cubes, because in this position, yeah, they've been losing HP slowly but surely, and that end up bleeding over. So GMERC wasn't able to land the first Anubis, which meant they always were having to play catch up, and they were behind and basically found it difficult to come back from that position. And that's sometimes how games can be. So one player ends up snowballing and builds up advantage over advantage. They can decide more freely on what chips they want. Yeah, GG's and well played. With that, let's head into setups for second match of the day with not third person, vs GMERC again. Oh yeah, there was another thing that I haven't really mentioned. So if you're looking at these setups, you can see that both players have this thing called armor type. And what this armor is, it's basically a way that allows you to half the opponent's damage other than the element you select. So the weakness of the element you select. So for example, both sides here select heat up. And what that means is that they both take half damage from fire chips or any other chips other than aqua. So aqua chips would deal normal damage to them instead of double damage. So this does make it very strong in terms of survival and allows them to sustain themselves much better. But looking at their folder, so we've seen GMERC's folder already, but looking at not third person's folder, so they have a few different decisions here. So we do see the steals, interrupt, and Anubis, which are expected, the recoveries, but there are no area steal. Oh wait, there are. Oh, there's no ring wave. No? Ring wave. I meant big wave. Yeah. So instead they decide to go for fighter sword, ring zap, aqua aura, which that's the first time I've seen. And the time bomb 2 and X panel 3. I don't really know what X panel 3 does, so it's going to be interesting to find out. And another funny part to point out in these customs is that every single chip is pretty much the same code, which is always funny. So in this matchup, Battle Network 1, you'll probably end up seeing a lot of the same fundamentals that are having to be put in place, which isn't quite as appealing when you're used to Battle Network 6 and all of the variety that Battle Network 6 is, but it's still pretty great. Valtune Beta says Battle Network 1 tournament, but you have to donate $15 to the chosen charity for every interrupt in your folder. Ooh, that would be quite the tournament. Maybe 15 might be a bit too steep, but that's actually a pretty interesting idea. Doing charity tournaments like that. But yeah, without further ado, let's head to the match, see how it plays out. I will say that these transition animations that Salad made is very good. Okay, so we are starting with this field. I feel like when I play, this is usually a rare field that you don't see often. Ooh, and the interrupt coming down during that movement. So not third person went for a bit of a greedy play, going with going with the steal first and then trying to move. But unfortunately, if your opponent's smashing, the movement is pretty much guaranteed to miss. GMERC now has interrupt and Anubis, but decides to only go with an Anubis, which is, to only go with an interrupt, which is interesting actually. I'm not sure why I decided to go with that. And yeah, their interrupt comes down first. Unfortunately, not the third person wasn't quite able to mash any cubes out. They are mashing out their buster though, so these cubes probably don't have too long left. We see the X panel, so this will find out how it works, or no, both sides are going to add, so another turn with no chips. Both of the cubes have been destroyed now, so there is the brief mind games of buster shots. Ooh, very nice from the third person. So with this play, they are now able to confirm whatever chip they want to. I think in this position, they can even be greedy and just start with a Anubis, steal, another steal even, because they have the confirm. And yeah, so GMERC is thinking about going for just an ad, because they aren't sure about what the opponent's going to take. Let's see about the end of this turn. GMERC tried to go for that same play with interrupting the opponent, but I'm not sure if they managed to get it in time. I think it was a bit too early, and now the third person was free to take chips into the stack. So this is one of the issues with using add tool, because as you can see here, you can only do it 2 times. So that means on the third turn, you are pretty much forced to take some chips with you, which isn't ideal. That's not really where you want to be. But it seems like both sides had a pretty good hand to think about taking. A third person looking to break some panels, using that to maneuver around the enemy, but let's see who gets their mash first. Ooh, nice. Not third person with their first interrupt. Ooh, and GMERC is stepping back. Yeah, so broken panels in Pattern 12.1 are literally broken. You don't even get to see them. Ooh. Anubis doesn't have that much HP. So I think it's about 100 HP, which means 2 fully charged buster shots can destroy. Life aura is coming down from GMERC, which might make it difficult for the third person to deal with, since they wouldn't be able to destroy it easily. They just have to try to maneuver around. Ooh. Not third person being able to get off their interrupt and using Aqua Aura. I'm not actually sure what Aqua Aura does. I think it blocks everything other than Aqua Chips. Ooh, and the time bomb comes down, but this is different to the button twerk 6 time bomb, and oh no, the noobs gets denied as well. That doesn't even take away the aura. So this is looking like a pretty bad position for not third person. There is still GMERC still doesn't have any interrupts to use this time. Or they do have an Anubis, but it seems like they will be going for another ad play. Ooh, trying to move around, landing buster shots, nice movement, and moving at the end of turn though. I think not third person should have had enough time to fully land in their new panel. So if they decide to match something, either an interrupt or an Anubis, they have a good chance of actually connecting. GMERC is forced to use chips, so he's going with a big hand, starting with interrupt. Ooh, and the interrupt does connect. So unfortunately, not third person is having to lose all of the chips, and the Aqua Aura is gone as well. Very well played from not third person, refusing to move down and denying the area grab. So steals in this game are very powerful because there isn't really grab banish or a judgment to deal with, and that basically will leave the player stuck. The opponent isn't able to regain area. both sides are taking no chips. GMERC isn't able to protect the Anubis, so he will be soon destroyed. And ooh, nice. Okay, so both sides are going into this turn as blank. Okay, looking at this turn. Not third person is going with a big hand, but GMERC has nothing to retaliate. So let's see how this turns out. If they are able to land the Anubis in the back row of GMERC, then this could be real big. Ring Zap will destroy the aura, and let's see if it lands. The Anubis does survive, so now it's going to be very difficult for GMERC to try to deal with that Anubis in that position. They do have a lot of chips to pick from though, which is always what you want to see. A third person going for an ad, so GMERC does have a pretty good opportunity to land everything. But they need to be mindful of their next turn. They can basically plan their next 2 turns now, depending on what chip they have. Okay, starting with the intro. Obviously, we know that the third person has nothing to do with it. So this is a big reason why I believe doing double votes is such a great idea for Assault 1. Is the opponent, so GMERC doesn't know what the third person had, but we know. We can see all these mind games. Ooh, and very nice, very well played from the third person by stepping back forward and playing the mind games to avoid GMERC from destroying the Anubis. So the third person is running out of chips. They have 3 recoveries, 3 interrupts, steal, and vital sword. They don't have another Anubis, so if GMERC is able to destroy their Anubis and maintain the higher HP, then this can be a very good position. Now, third person really wants that interrupt to go through. Oh, unfortunately, the life aura comes down first, but these recoveries will still come into play, which will bring the third person to pretty much full HP. Yeah. They're being patient, it's good, trying to maximize the value. Stepping away from the area to avoid being hit. However, that does open the opportunity for GMERC to destroy the Anubis. Nice, GMERC is playing it safe, taking 1 recovery and the 1 ring zap. Because if an interrupt lands from the third person and they lose everything, this could be a difficult position. The interrupt does land, and unfortunately, GMERC doesn't have enough time. GMERC's HP is looking very scary at this point. They did survive another turn, but no, they ended the turn in a buster animation. This will mean that the third person will have a confirmed interrupt, which will unfortunately delete that recovery 300. With the recovery 300, then GMERC could have had an opportunity for a comeback, but that's nullified at this point. Takes us into a game 2 with a bit of an interesting field. We haven't seen this one yet. So these dirt cubes, I guess, makes you think of Minecraft. But these dirt cubes, dirt blocks, take 1 hit. However, they are being protected by these steel cubes. So these steel cubes are going to be very difficult to destroy and will deny other players' use of Anubis. I think this is one of the more interesting fields because it denies either player starting with Anubis. Yeah, there you go. Both players just deciding to go with the ad play instead and seeing what they can do into the next turn. Ooh. Unfortunately, GMERC ended up ending the turn with a buster shot, so they immediately go with an ad. They don't want to risk being interrupted and losing tips because they will lose that trade. On the other hand, not that person is confident they can get chips out, so they are freely going for the interrupt and the other chips they have. There is an Anubis they could... Okay, so they are taking the Anubis in play, will probably be protected by GMERC's Steel Cube. And yeah, there you go. Oh no! Ooh, this is a very bad position for GMERC to be in because they have no way of destroying that rock cube behind them. Or that steel cube behind them. So what they need to do is place an Anubis in front and basically force the exchange to come into them. They don't have access to any more ads, so they have to take a chip now if they want to progress. They need to start with a match, but they were flinching at the end of turn. Neither players decided to go with anything. That was actually very interesting. I think if I was GMERC, I would have tried to take something just to force the exchange, maybe risk it. And yeah, so GMERC in chat is saying if you don't pick chips, the ad stays, which I actually didn't know about. Naydens27 is saying they don't have enough ring zaps. The issue is not just the ring zap. So in this position, even if they use a ring zap, it will always hit not third person first before hitting the cube behind it, because it goes in anti-clockwise from the player. If that makes sense. It will start in front and then up or down. And after we go. But yeah, this isn't really where you want to be if you are GMERC. Using end of turn steal to interrupt, that's pretty brutal. So yeah, now not that person just bringing out all of the techniques to interrupt the opponent, but this is why, or partially why, I think Battle for Fun is great, because it's not just the interrupt mashing. You can do a lot of things to force your opponent to lose these exchanges. And we do see that time bomb. Let's see if the third person is actually going to go for a time bomb finish. I guess. There he goes. Just using a time bomb to end the game like that. So time bomb is an interesting one because as an object, it ends up destroying the other objects like Anubis. But it also does decent damage. There was actually new tech discovered with Anubis. I mean, with time bomb. So if you place time bomb on a panel that your opponent would be on, it will push them back, also get destroyed. But pushing them back is very important because, as mentioned before, I think that might literally be the only way to push the opponent back. I think this might be the only way to push the opponent back from their area. So if you are able to use it effectively against the opponent, you can push them back, regain your area, and yeah, place your own area. All right, well played to both sides, showcasing some of the interesting aspects of Battle Network 1. Hopefully people have been liking the stream so far. But let's head into setups for our next match with Weenie, or Battle Network 1 sucks, as his name is at the moment, for some reason. I'm not sure why anyone would think Battle Network sucks. It's clearly such a great game. PS Gamer. GMERC in Twitch is saying they are the main character of this tournament, which is an interesting way to put it. But yeah, we did have quite a number of GMERC matches. And yeah, so looking at Weenie's setup, we see 10 interrupt, which is the most we've seen so far, as well as 7 Anubis or Anubai, is that how you say it? Which I think is also the most we've seen so far. Weenie decided to go with basically the simplest folder you want to have in Battle Network 1. So a lot of Anubis, a lot of interrupt, a lot of steals, recoveries, and few fighter sword ring zaps for the occasional area lock that your opponent might subject you to. I think in terms of this matchup, it's going to be very interesting how GMERC will decide to do their ads compared to Weenie, because Weenie does have more interrupts, quite a lot more. But if GMERC is able to use these life arrows effectively to secure the buster shots on Weenie, then these interrupts can go for waste. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see how they both play. There isn't really too much going on for setups in Battle for 1. It's just like 10 of a chip and a bunch of the other chips. So it all translates to how they play it. But yeah, with that, let's head into the match and see how it goes. Okay, so that was BD10, which unfortunately we ended up missing the first custom, but we did start with that field, and as you can see, so this is what I explained earlier with this field allowing both players to have, denying both players from using Anubis easily. So GMERC ended up wasting an Anubis. I think that might have been better if they placed it just on that steel cube to destroy it, as Weenie is doing here. Weenie is looking at that steel, but he only has one of them. So now GMERC does have a cube to hide behind at the end of turn. Weenie is trying to go for the interrupt before the end of turn. Let's see if it connects. Ooh. Okay, so both sides just end up being idle, which will bring us into a match here. Weenie has no interrupts, but Weenie only has 2 chips, potentially, that he wants to take into the stand. If he takes the ring zap, okay, so when he's leaving it simple, we'll try to mash these chips out. Don't forget, as long as you get your chips out before interrupt, then it doesn't matter if the opponent has interrupt. So there is no time freeze counter. Means if Weenie is able to mash out both chips, then he will basically have wasted GMERC's interrupt as well as taking the full stand. And the first chip goes through. I guess interrupts will go through because Weenie has no benefit of using that. Ooh, nice. GMERC expected an Anubis to come down this turn, or just wanted to deal some damage and took that big wave to destroy it. Stray Sign Wave in chat saying both players have low recovery economy, but with the extra interrupt and Anubis, they think it favors Weenie slightly. I think that's an interesting take. So now we can see some of the advantage. So Weenie, or some of the disadvantage, Weenie does have a lot of interrupts, but unfortunately he isn't really getting any. Both players decided to go with no interrupts this turn, but GMERC is going to have to deal with that annoying steel cube. Yeah, so this steel cube is almost always going to be detrimental for GMERC, which I believe in that position, you want to aim to destroy it as soon as you land into the battle. So now GMERC having to struggle with that cube, and Weenie still has no interrupts. So this is going to be very heavy interrupt late game from Weenie. Ooh. Both sides using their own ring zap, but unfortunately GMERC end up using, doing 5 damage with a full Anubis. If that stayed pretty much for 5 frames, that would have been more value. So that was a very unfortunate turn for GMERC. And now Weenie's finally getting his interrupts. It looks like he's going to take them freely. Which, I mean, I don't blame him. All of these turns with no interrupts. That's pretty unfortunate. Think about how he wants to take the stand. So taking, I think I would have taken the second Anubis as well, because in this position you'd have to protect your own Anubis, which the other play would be to sacrifice the Anubis to place the second one at the end. That will allow you to go through your fodder more quickly. Alright, GMERC had nothing to do with that hand, but the Anubis is dropped. Ooh, and when it drops the Anubis pretty far forward, that will allow him to solidify his area advantage, but unfortunately this means the Anubis gets destroyed very quickly. And now going into this turn, no interrupts for GMERC, so he is going for another ad, whereas Weenie is going to freely take his interrupt with the Anubis. And yeah, there it goes. This is another opportunity for GMERC to step back and potentially destroy it though. And there it goes. Doing a bit of damage, though not quite that much. And that will bring us into the finally the turn that GMERC gets his own interrupt. And this is looking to be like a big turn. So going with interrupt, steal, and potential recoveries, and Anubis. I think taking 2 Anubis might be a bit too greedy, because this hand, if you get interrupted, Yeah, there it goes. This is still not quite enough damage, especially if Weenie is deciding against stepping back. He doesn't have any steals to confirm his movement, so I'm not sure why Weenie is continuing to camp forward. He could at least put the Anubis down and then camp in front of it to protect. Alright, still coming down from GMERC and allows for the... Oh no, wait. Weenie used his interrupt. But no Anubis in play, so GMERC still hanging on for now, which is looking a bit scary. This might be a single third. So if Weenie is able to land an Anubis, or the no Anubis for Weenie inside so far. This is why you don't really want to have too many interrupts. So it's going to be a fine balance between interrupt and your Anubis. Ooh, the fighter sword does connect though. That does do half damage because of the armor that GMERC has. And now Weenie's at his last chips, whereas GMERC is still having a lot of chip potential to use into the stand. Let's see. Oh no, unfortunately interrupt takes a lot of their chips, but they are still alive and Weenie has nothing else to deal damage. A single Anubis could make the difference for GMERC. So going with an ad, which I think is a bit of a brave play. So in this position in the game, you might be thinking, oh, damage judge is surely happening soon. So if you're familiar with Battlefield 6, then you know that damage judge after 15 turns, the game ends and whoever does more damage wins. But this game has no damage. There is only max, and basically max mode is a way for the game to attempt to speed things up. Unfortunately, it does it very bad. So GMERC gets interrupted again. No access to chips for the stand. And Weenie is out of all chips, so he is holding onto that recovery 300, aiming to use it near the end of stand to get maximum value out of it. Using buster shots like that to deal damage is very inefficient because basically there is flashing, so what you want to do is charge shots to do a lot more damage so you don't waste the flashing time. Stray Side Wave is saying just use the life aura GMERC, and I do agree. GMERC is playing it very cautious, maybe too cautious. Ooh, the ring zap is coming out, so now Weenie is going to find difficulty maneuvering around and the life aura is going to come down. So this is max mode, and what it does is basically prevents players from flinching. Attacks will still flash them, but they will not flinch. And now that Weenie is out of chips, GMERC has the life aura, which does not expire. So this game is basically done by now. We know it's done. GMERC doesn't quite know, but probably has an idea that Weenie has no answers. Okay, so now, yeah, GMERC is just going to be using charge shots, and yeah, so how's everyone in chat doing? This is going to be this is going to take quite a bit. Okay, Weenie moving around, trying to speed things along slightly. It does seem to work. That's actually a surprising amount of damage. That's actually crazy. I didn't realize it was that much. Yeah, every single charge shot does 50, so 2 more to go, which will take us into the next game. There is no anti-shots at least, so you don't have to wait into another one. That is game 3. Ooh, GMERC decided to go with the safer play, taking no chips in turn 1, expecting an Anubis. Oh nice, being able to deny a steal there as well. That's actually pretty good value for GMERC. I feel like in this position, what you want to do as either players actually is to try to destroy these steel cubes, or at least destroy one of them. Because if both are down and your opponent is able to solidify an Anubis, that will make it very difficult for you to come, especially for GMERC. So at least for Weenie, he has Fighter Sword, and Fighter Sword is basically a long sword plus one range, so it's a longer long sword, and that would allow Weenie to destroy an Anubis placed in that position. But instead, they are both trying to bust underneath the understand. Let's see, Weenie goes for the play, but it was too early. That allowed time for GMERC to recover and will be into a mashing game, and looks like this will be a big one. So both sides are going with their own interrupts and Anubis this turn. So whoever is able to land their own interrupt is going to get big value, which looks like it was GMERC this time. So Steel is coming down to regain the area, probably stepping back and placing the Anubis. Weenie was able to win a lot of the matches in game 1, but this game is a different beast. Ooh, nice. And GMERC at the end of that turn scaring Weenie off, so landing these buster shots to force Weenie to step away, or at least scare him from stepping forward. And now the interrupt is going to come out from Weenie. Let's see if they get it through. They do, but the only interrupted GMERC's interrupt. So now both sides have their own Anubis hidden behind these cubes. The first cube goes down. Unfortunately, the second one does block part of Weenie's area grab. Another interrupt coming down from Weenie, or planning to come down from Weenie, though GMERC is using another ad. Again, so this is another example why I thought double votes for this game is good, because as Weenie, you don't know what your opponent's doing, but we know there was an ad there, so we can appreciate the mind games, the decisions that players have to take. Recovery is coming down from Weenie. Weenie is able to destroy that cube and solidify an area grab, so now he is able to threaten the Anubis without risking his own Anubis. Oh no, GMERC ending with a buster shot. So what this means is that Weenie will freely have a match this turn. GMERC's SP is looking a bit scary, so I believe there are 2 more turns before he risks being deleted. Ooh, Weenie is repositioning his Anubis to him at the very back of the field, which is very difficult to deal with. And very funny to look at as well, because neither side can really hit him. Now GMERC has a lot of chips to pick from, including an interrupt, but this interrupt is going to be very crucial. If they are able to mash it out, they have a comeback potential. They can use 2 recoveries, which would be plenty to regain a lot of HP. Oh no, decided to take just one, avoiding risking it. But I think in this position you either get interrupted or lose, which unfortunately... Wait, no, not unfortunately. GMERC did get his own interrupt. And the double votes keep getting me, especially when they're both at the back there. So this is why I thought taking the second recovery would have been helpful for GMERC, because it would have added a bit more padding, and now both players are low on HP. However, Weenie is very slightly ahead. So if Weenie is able to get that interrupt before GMERC's recovery, then Weenie is able to close it. However, if he's not able to, then this could go to GMERC. So this is still very close. GMERC does have potential to smash through. No, unfortunately, the mash gets beaten. He might still be able to survive it to the next turn with very slight HP. If he just smashes into custom, he still has some time. Oh no, never mind. And that will bring us into the last game. GMERC in Twitter is saying there might be a delay on the thing when you can actually open the custom screen. That's interesting. I'm not sure if there was delay on that. I feel like there is, but I'm not too sure, yeah. So GMERC decides to. Oh, nice. So this is the play. Pretty rare play, actually. Don't often see that big wave coming into such value. And this allowed GMERC to place his own Anubis. Weenie going for the confirmed interrupt, rightfully so, but he does still have to contend with that area grab. Ooh. So Weenie was almost going to deny GMERC the freedom of movement. That would have been a very bad position for GMERC, which we saw last match. But now GMERC can really just aim at that Anubis and destroy it. Oh no. Predicting the attempted movement from Weenie, starting with a buster shot, but now GMERC is unfortunately locked into this animation. So one play that Weenie could potentially do is to avoid taking that interrupt. So if Weenie was running low on interrupts or doesn't run as many, then he knows this position is confirmed, so it's more likely for GMERC to use an ad there, which means that Weenie would have less risk of losing his own chips to an interrupt. So there is also that thing, that the mind game we haven't seen, that cube does get destroyed, so the Anubis barely survives. There is still that steel cube on GMERC's side, which I believe will cause quite the issue for GMERC if he's unable to destroy. Weenie is going for an interrupt play. Let's see who gets it off. GMERC gets their interrupt first. Steel coming down. So unfortunately, the Anubis will be destroyed nonetheless. Oh, nice play. So GMERC almost managed to land a full area, but unfortunately that was denied. And now Weenie's HP is looking very scary and no recoveries in hand either. Thankfully, GMERC doesn't have an Anubis, but Weenie doesn't know that. Ooh, just taking an area grab, which gets denied by that interrupt, though not very much is lost for Weenie. Oh no. So yeah, this is the position that GMERC doesn't really want to be in. Weenie just has an extra interrupt for some reason instead. I guess to go through his folder. And the recovery 300, but still no Anubis for GMERC. If Weenie is able to match that one through, then there is still a chance. Something might be happening soon. Let's see who gets their own first. Nice, and GMERC does get the advantage. So GMERC is now really pressed to destroy that Anubis there, because if he's unable to destroy it, there will be a lot of damage being taken. Nice. Now, so what you want to do is use your rapid buster to destroy it instead of getting a charge shot. These charge shots can be very easily interrupted by the opponent's own buster shots, which does make it very difficult to deal with. Interrupt coming down from GMERC, immediately denying Weenie his recoveries. Nice. GMERC is destroying the Anubis, and oh no, his own Anubis gets destroyed. Weenie still has the potential for a comeback. No recoveries again, but this time GMERC also doesn't have an interrupt. I think in this position you probably want to match an Anubis, but GMERC decides to go for another ad, maybe trying to replicate what happened last game, and that was a very nice dodge. So unfortunately, the ring zap does connect, which makes it very difficult for GMERC to move around. And Weenie is out of chips. So this is one of the disadvantages of running a lot of interrupts. We saw that last game and we're seeing it now. GMERC is able to play it more patiently, survive through these turns, and preserve their chips. And these interrupts are getting very big value, especially with these recoveries. I don't think Weenie really has anything to do now. So just placing the Anubis is going to be a game for GMERC by the end. Which was very well played. That was a very difficult matchup, I believe. I mean, it was mentioned in chat already that Weenie had more interrupts, which is good. But don't forget, by running more interrupts means you do have to run the sacrifice of running less of other stuff, which can put you in a very difficult position where you are down just 3 interrupts. And GMERC played it very well with using his ad as well. So using an ad, if you're not at risk of dying that time, being able to get the extra chips is very nice. All right, with that, let's head into the setups for our next and final match for the day with luckytyphlosion vs. Okay, so this is quite the folder that we're looking at. So this, I mean, we haven't seen either players in this stream yet, and as you can see, yeah, Lucky's running an interesting folder, and actually Salad is as well. I mean, not quite the level that Lucky's doing. But Salad's running something outside of what you might expect. So if we look at luckytyphlosion's folder, it does spell out something interesting. Which I guess I'll leave that as an exercise to the watcher, as they might say. He is running a lot of different chips, 30 of them in fact, and it's going to make for a very interesting game. Salad is only running a single interrupt and a number of Anubis. However, she is using fast gauge. So in this matchup, fast gauge can be detrimental for Salad, because by using the fast gauge, she's able to do less damage through the Anubis, and Lucky is going to be able to take more chips in that turn, or survive more turns to take more chips. And exactly, so as not a third person is saying in Twitch chat, Lucky has the only folder to take no L's and multiple W's. So clearly, you know what you want to do. Salad is running other interesting decisions that we haven't seen. So she has the Remobit 1. So Remobit 1 is another object where, I mean, it being an object means that it's the only object you can have on the field, but it causes a flying Remobit to attack the opponent. This actually applies, the paralyzed, it's not quite paralyzed, the electrified, I think. It has a name, which I forget. So it constantly applies it as well, which means that Salad can use that to apply a lot of pressure. But looking at luckytyphlosion's folder, he has a lot of chips that I haven't seen before. So this is going to be a very interesting learning experience for everyone involved, I guess. I literally don't know what most of these chips are. And there is a question in Twitch chat by Andy saying, aren't BN1 to 3 kind of really wacky and broken balance-wise compared to the games in the second release? So actually, some people might argue that Battle Network 1 is balanced, has better balance than Battle Network 4 and 5 as well. And the reason for that is base Battle Network 4 and 5, they unfortunately end up suffering a lot from the various mechanisms that they end up producing. So they do take a big hit in terms of how, I guess, enjoyable you could say they are to play. So Battle Network 5, I believe Dark Mega Man is very broken, which if you've seen some of the clips circling around, you can have literally 20 Bug the Thunderbolts that do 400 damage each, just flying unavoidable at the opponent. Or you can have like free recovery 1000 with no downside. Yeah, it's quite a thing. And Battle Network 3, which people might remember fondly as being a really good game, is unfortunately literally, and I mean that literally, decided by a coin flip because of the various ways it works. But well, all of that out of the way, we should head into this final match. Give me 1 second. So, fun fact, this match almost didn't make it on stream, but is now ready to be shown. This is just an elaborate plan by me to show more, of the transition. So, you might have noticed something a bit unusual. The match ended up getting sped up slightly there, and that was actually intentional. So luckytyphlosion took out of his time to edit this match slightly, which is something we almost never accept for stream. So all of the usual stream matches have to be unedited, just as a normal match. But in terms of time, and so we don't have a 1 hour match, Lucky ended up speeding some of things up. And you'll find out why soon. And what more do you want than hear sped up button for fun? So neither sides have an interrupt, which does make for an interesting play, and we can see that rainbow bit coming out in action. So destroying these fields, which I didn't actually realize, as well as if he connects, can deal the paralysis. Buster Punch is coming out from Lucky, so he's going to use that to destroy both boulders as well. Oh, wait, how did that punch reach the steel cube but doesn't reach the remover? I don't understand how that works. Okay, and now area is still coming down, so he is able to now move forward, but unfortunately it was only one tad. Oh, it pushes the cubes. Okay, I didn't realize it applies a push effect as well. Interesting. I mean, this is another mechanic that would be different in Battlefield 6. And now drop down. Oh wow, I guess literally dropped out. Never mind, it ran out. Okay, we're learning a lot of interesting tips that Battlefield 1 has, and there is also that flashing in the right, which I guess that panel is being repaired. Is working very hard trying to come back into the field. So let's go with another ad. Rune Zap will unfortunately take down the aura, and Lucky retaliates with his own fire aura. The third person is saying drop-down seems like pop-up, but it goes away the moment you do anything, which I believe pop-up is introduced in Battlefield 2. Ooh, a noob is coming down from Salad, but unfortunately Lucky is going to be able to step back very easily to destroy it. There is still that get-in hand for luckytyphlosion, which he does use, but ooh, I think he probably wanted to line up, and this is the field. I mean, if you wanted a good game to show backgrounds, then Battlefield 1 is your game. It literally destroys the whole field. Woodman is coming down, which I have no idea if that will connect. We'll find out together. Okay, maybe, potentially. Okay, it does connect, doing 50 damage. What? Okay. But I guess that is W landing for luckytyphlosion. Solid taking 2 recoveries. Another chip coming down from Lucky, so this is going to be an interesting match. This time it's Iceman, which does 30 damage this time. Okay, so we're walking backwards, and there is that freeze animation. That's actually very interesting. I don't think I've seen that freeze animation. So unfortunately, you cannot reapply freeze again. I mean, that is another mechanic that was in Battlefield 6. If you freeze into actually, wait, can you apply freeze again? I think you can, but apply splash. But yeah, besides the points, using area still repairs panels apparently, so you can have weird fields like this. Buster Sword ends up doing nothing for Lucky. This is quite the roller coaster of a match. Buster Guard this time is coming out, or potentially not coming out yet. Solid does have another Anubis, which he might be looking to put down in a bit. GMERC in Twitch chat saying Starman and Shadowman hit the cap for Armored Navi chip damage at 100 and ooh, the Anubis getting destroyed straight away, but Salad has another one as a backup. She's going to try to potentially stand in front, but Lucky actually has a number of very good ways of dealing with it, like this chip, which I forgot the name of. Lucky also has the patent playerzero play with running escape that does literally nothing, and we are down to max mode already. Ooh, there is a pause in there, which I'm not sure what's happening there. Nadens in which are saying, I don't think Lucky and Salad were taking this very seriously. I believe they were. I mean, it is a tournament. They were taking it seriously, but they both have quite an interesting build, and there is no damage judge in Battle Network 1. So this is literally how they have to play this. Lucky is saying this is the only match seriously. Interesting. We'll go over what that might mean next. Oh, interrupt coming down from Salad. The only interrupt, unfortunately, does nothing. Buster Bomb is coming down. This is like that meme clip from Battle Network 6, actually, mod card, where you have the opponent locked down by Geddon and then you fire mini bombs at them. Pop-Up is coming back. Oh, wait. Oh, interesting. So Pop-Up doesn't... So Lucky thinks it's normal, but Salad doesn't see where Lucky is. That's actually a bit spooky, because if I was Lucky there, I would have assumed that I have no pop-up active, because I wouldn't be able to see it. Does Bomb Arm ignore invincibility traits? So invincibility traits depend on the attack that applies them. It did seem like Mini Bomb doesn't apply invisible, which means there is no invisible. You can just hit the opponent constantly with it. Oh, Lucky is saying that this video is 30 FPS, which means some of these might be a bit different to how it looked like in real time. But that's good to know. Salad has plenty of HP, but is using recovery 300 anyway because she wants to go through her folder, and her folder she goes through indeed. She is basically out of chips, and she really has to deal with that life aura, because we already saw in the previous game what could have happened to GMERC and life aura. Because, I mean, what happened to GMERC thanks to life aura. Ooh, that gets interrupted. That was actually very close, because now Salad only has one chip to deal with that life aura. If she is able to destroy that, then she still has a comeback potential, which she does. But now, Lucky has a big advantage, and this game will literally go on forever until they both delete the other. So they have to delete the other. There is no damage judge. There is no other way this game's going to end, and that explains these buster shots. But now you can see this is all about the buster shots exchange. Now both players have to land their charge shots, and Lucky does have quite a number of chips, which I'm surprised he's deciding against using. If he is... Oh no, Lucky didn't have his... Oh yeah, because he used add, so he ended up losing that ring zap. That's one of the ways ring zap works. I mean, add works. Another Woodman coming down, doing massive 0 damage because Salad was already flashing. Okay, so now Lucky is retaliating with his own remote, which does get basically instantly destroyed. And now it's all about the buster shot. So actually, is Salad able to destroy the barrier? I'm not sure. Oh, okay, he can. Nice.
I see Lucky is using the secret replay tech of simply fast forwarding through 50 Buster shots a turn and nothing else.
Yeah, so Buster trades, very interesting, and we might be here for a while. So, how's your day, Weenie?
It's good. It's good. It got a little worse watching this, but
Oof, I'm not sure what you mean. You're just talking about how great Battleswork is and how it's the best game in the series and how you always wanted to run tournaments for it.
Of course. I am here of my own free will and not under any kind of duress.
Yep, indeed. But this is showing another aspect of Battle Network 1, which is great, where you have to end up using the mind games and battle your opponent with Buster Shots. So we can see that luckytyphlosion is using semi-charged Buster Shots. So, fun fact, Battle Network 1 has 2 stages to completing a charge shot. Did you know that, Win?
Unfortunately, I did.
Exactly. So
it is interesting, though, that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is interesting, though, that the one damage-dealing chip luckytyphlosion has is Fighter Sword, but he can't get that area back.
That is true. Another very fun thing about Battle Network 1 is that area literally never expires. And drop down disappears after using a single chain. But this match is actually still very close if you look at it. So Salad is able to push back, but luckytyphlosion is trying to fight back as well. They're both about even on HP, and I'm totally not trying to make this exciting. And maybe failing. So
yeah, the resolve, though, to shoot through 500 HP is simply incredible. It's truly a test of will.
Yeah, you might be wondering why they are going into custom, and your guess is as good as mine. I literally have no idea either. One of them just decides to press the custom turn and they go into it.
This is what I call metagaming. This is when you really have to do these 60 mind games.
Yeah. You're trying to manipulate the RNG 5 turns in advance. 5 turns in advance, and then forcing the opponent to be hit by a charge shot. So it's clearly working for Lucky. He's going up ahead on HP. It seems like we are watching Battle Network 1P. Oh, okay. The quality is there. If you are watching on YouTube, then welcome. You will see all of the amazing edits that Salad does to avoid all of these issues that we've been having throughout all the stream.
Thank you, Salad.
Thank you indeed. I mean, since we're on that topic, Salad made this layout, which I think fits Battle Network 1 very nicely, especially with that proving land during what was supposed to be her break as well. So everyone in chat say thank you to Salad, but don't tell her I said that. And yeah, speaking of new mechanics, shout out, as they are saying in chat, shout out to Not Third Person and Titus for discovering the time bomb. And this is looking
amazing.
Yeah, so there is stuff happening and a lot of skipping around. Oh, there you go. Lucky managed to finish off. We did receive a donation from Radhat, $15 saying, well, I'm back with a new job and new job money. Glad to see peak Battle Network content with our wonderful host, Easy and Weenie. Congratulations on your new job and welcome back. And yeah, hopefully, I mean, Battle Network 1 is indeed quite the adventure. So you're experiencing it with me in real time. I wasn't quite sure what I was putting myself into by hosting this tournament, can't lie. But I think it went pretty well, to be honest. So speaking of next tournaments, I might be hosting a Battle Network 4.5 Battle Network 4.5 tournament soon. As for Battle Network 3, I'll leave that to the Battle Network 3 expert Dorman. Okay, but going on to game 2. So now, Lucky, we're starting with a fresh hand and seeing what Lucky decides to take into the turn. Ooh, so we are starting with an Iceman, which have you seen the freeze animation before me?
I have. It's actually pretty cool. That is one good on there.
Oh, and looks like mashing it was still in this game. So Salad was able to break free from that very quickly. Okay, so let's go.
The triple fast gauge play.
Yeah, imagine if fast gauge somehow stacked, having 1 second turn every turn. Remobit coming down from Lucky, but unfortunately it doesn't have a lot of HP, so one panel goes down and quickly gets destroyed as well.
There is the lack of seeing the chip codes under the chips in the custom is actually really quite painful.
Yeah, so I mean, this is all part of my plan. By playing Battle Network 1, you can appreciate all the new mechanics that were added to Battle Network 6. But in all seriousness, I do think that Battle Network 1 is actually pretty decently fun PvP game, as long as you don't end up in situations similar to the first game, where both players have no damage and have to struggle for a 25 minute match.
Mr. Groundler 1 can be fun if you are okay with a little bit of carpal tunnel.
A little bit. I'm not sure about the little bit part, but yeah. Unironically, my hand starts hurting after playing a bunch of buttons. So take care. Carpal tunnel is serious business.
Ooh, Sal did not see the interrupt as the first chip in the round. I guess she. So Lucky has no interrupts, so
yeah, Lucky has no interrupts, and Salad has a single interrupt as well. So she probably wants to save it for an impactful turn, which did Lucky even take anything that turn? I don't remember. No, Lucky took nothing. So Salad had that one interrupt, hold on to it, literally wasted it on an ad.
Well, you know, she does win the moral victory for not packing 10 interrupts like everyone else, so...
Yeah, that is true, and we do see a big recovery hand for Salad, so she probably will keep holding on to these recovery chips until late in the game to avoid the same position repeating from game 1. Ooh, Lucky decides... Yeah, so he destroys his own cube, which will mean he's susceptible to taking buster shots, but with that coast he's able to destroy... that Anubis, which was there, draining him very quickly.
Salad does appear to be going for the back of Anubis.
Oh, did she have an Anubis this time? She does.
Here it comes.
This is going to be very bad for Lucky, unless he's able... never mind, so it wasn't very bad at all for him.
Unfortunately, it was the bottom row Anubis, not the top row, so it is vulnerable to ring zap.
Yeah, Salad wasn't able to maintain that full area to secure that full Anubis.
Lucky considering the Whipman, or maybe the escape tech.
Ooh, escape dealing mental damage can be very, very devastating.
It is a classic playerzero technique. One of the old masters of Battle Network 1.
Accurate, pretty accurate. I mean, I will say, when I first played Battle Network 1, I did end up borrowing in air quotes, Weenie's build, and then the only change I made to it was literally just adding an escape there.
Oh, Lucky him for the triple Woodman play. Oh, that's Iceland. That's unfortunate.
Lucky is convinced if he gets the 3 Woodmans in 110, then he might just win the match from that. Oh no, he didn't go for it. Oh no, Lucky, it's not looking good. You had a free triple W to take with you.
It's very unfortunate.
Oh, the remove it gets denied, unfortunately. Oh, but
okay.
Okay, that's
Not.
what's happening. Something.
I guess it just spawns it.
Apparently.
One particular curious thing about BN1 is that Navi chips do not damage obstacles, so you cannot use any Navi chips to destroy any of this.
Yeah, so it's just about to mention that. If you're wondering why people don't usually run navigators, that's why. Ooh, very nice charge up from Salad, actually. Being able to immediately destroy that wood with a charge up. Ooh.
Ooh, the Aqua Aura, the 10 damage aura.
I don't really know how these elemental auras work. Do you know?
No. I have no idea.
No one knows. Okay. I guess we're all in to learn something new.
I think they just, apparently Pop-Up gets rid of Aura. That's, interesting.
Okay. We're all learning together.
Not third person says, elemental auras block their damage, but if they're hit by the weakness, they take the damage and they go away. Thank you.
Oh, you take the damage as well. Interesting. I wonder how that stacks with the elemental armor as well. So if you have wood armor and wood body, or different bodies, is that okay? No. And escape is coming down.
The mind game.
Stray side wave in Twitch chat saying there is so much Basilisk War fun to research and add to the wiki, which is a perfect segue to go and talk about the wiki. So thanks to Weenie as well, we actually have a fully functioning, actually very nice Basilisk War wiki.
Ooh, Salad can get that. Oh, that's Erica. Hey, that's interesting.
I mean, Lucky had to spell something in his chips, and who knows what he was trying to spell with that. I showed that there, but yeah.
Oh, he walks into the body burn. Oh, that's unfortunate. No, I'm more respect on Salad's side. She's taken Steel A and not Steel L, so she can't use it on the same term as Anubis.
Oh wait, Salad has Steel A. Oh, she does. Oh, that is interesting. I wonder why. I guess because she has.
Shit.
Yeah.
We will see, I think, Steel return the top two squares above Lucky there, because in this game, Steel also returns area, but also undestroys panels for some reason.
But it will return them for Lucky, so Salad will still be trapped there, and I'm not sure why Lucky is deciding against using his own life. We did see the area grab fixing broken panels in a very weird fashion in an earlier game, so that was very fun.
Oh, here we go.
There it goes. But this was helpful for Lucky because now he can move away. Ooh, so in Twitch chat, Lucky is saying he wanted to do Geddon into Buster Sword. That would have been very interesting. It's really funny seeing Salad having to literally take 2 turns to pick chips because she has to use the ad, so she doesn't want to take the recoveries.
Sadly, that steal from Lucky did prevent Salad from putting Anubis into the checkmate position, but don't believe Lucky has. Oh,
Buster Sword pushing Salad out, but Salad was able to move back to place the Anubis. We'll have to see if Lucky has any way of dealing with it. This is fast gauge, so Lucky is going to be able to take a lot of chips per turn.
oh, he does have rings at 3, so that is guaranteed to destroy that Anubis.
Would it destroy in this position? I never remember which direction rings up moves it.
I believe the top left, getting top left Anubis, you will always be able to block it, but bottom right you can always ring zap it.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah.
Solid does have more Anubis chips in hand though. Oh, he decided against taking the Anubis. Buster Guard seems fun, but Solid is able to land in quite a number of charge shots on Lucky and Buster Guard plus 1. Alright.
Oh, she's managing her Anubises.
Woodman's coming out. You might think, oh nice, that's a great opportunity to destroy the Anubis, but as a reminder, objects deal no damage. I mean, Nabis deal no damage to objects.
So
Dino Wave does.
Block. Oh, the Dino Wave.
I feel like changing from Dino Wave into the way Reflector works in Battlefield 6 was very nice.
Ooh, unfortunately the Buster Bomb wouldn't hit anything anyway because Lucky could not take the area back.
And now that will bring us into the final game, Game 3, and the final match for this stream. What would you do in this position, Weenie? If you see this hand from Salad, what would you take?
I would probably. Yeah, that looks like you could. Fascination to steal looks pretty good. After bustering the two sand cubes, but looks like she didn't opt to take the steal.
Okay, these are clearly dirt cubes. Dirt blocks. They're not sand blocks.
It's true. It's Minecraft before we even had Minecraft.
Yep. But another great thing about Buttons for Fun, literally inspired Minecraft. There you go. What more do you want?
So true.
Yeah, someone needs to ask that as trivia. Buttons for Fun inspired Minecraft.
Fire Sword does take out the rings, the remote bit.
Ooh, Salad is holding onto the Anubis, which if she is able to place behind one of these steel cubes, then that should be able to survive for quite a bit as well.
Lucky no Fighter Sword in hand can't get rid of the Anubis. Oh, maybe the rings that will hit though.
Ooh, Lucky has Buster Sword, which would destroy the cube very quickly actually. So I think that's his plan, yes. He's going to use that to destroy the cube and potentially destroy the Anubis. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, very nice. Very well played from Salad. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I guess this is why Fast Gauge is potentially useful for Salad. It denies these turns. Buster Guard is coming up. I was just gonna say I don't know how that works, but now we know. And this flashing panel is coming back again.
Salad perhaps trying to get mileage out of that steal, but Lucky does not move back from the front row, so unfortunately.
Fast Gauge number 2 being dropped. Followed up by the Fast Gauge number 3. No one could have seen it coming.
Truly gameplay. Ooh, the Woodman too.
Unfortunately, Lucky wasn't able to complete the secret button to work 1 PA. If you take 3 woodmans in one turn, then you just win the game. That's just how it works. Totally real and 100% accurate.
Surprised that Salad is not placing the Anubis behind the steel cubes there.
I think the steel cube might have a bit low HP, so I'm not sure she wants to risk it. She wouldn't be able to protect Anubis that well. And in Twitch chat, not third person is highlighting the other very real, very secret PA, which is using 5 escapes. I mean, if you do that, then you don't know, you don't want to know what happens. Let's just leave it at that.
Is that more or less powerful than the time bomb L PA?
Ooh, that is, yeah. I mean, I'd say about the same strength.
Ooh, and the Anubis comes down behind the steel cube.
But White or Sword getting in a lot of value and immediately destroyed.
That cube was surprisingly resilient.
Yeah.
It took a Night Sword and Fighter Sword and it's still going.
I think someone mentioned it in chat, but I believe these cubes have 400 HP? I don't know.
Unfortunately, no one knows how this game works.
Yep. Oh, 500. You know what we should do? We should just keep giving it the free HP value every time too. Maybe that's how the game works. I mean, have you ever counted how much HP it has?
That's true.
Maybe it decides to wake up with 300 HP. You don't know.
It has the exact amount of HP that would be bad for you and good for the opponent.
Yep, exactly. Straight Soundwave says they actually did count the presses. Okay, that is quite the dedication because it's a lot of presses to go through.
The industry does get rid of Aqua Aura for some cursed reason.
And you don't see. It's still funny that you can't really see Lucky on Salad's side, but you can see Lucky on Lucky's side. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that's how Invis and Button Torque 6 should work. That would be funny.
They did keep this mechanic all the way up to Dominant 3 where Invisible just really does make you invisible for some reason.
Wasn't it something to do with the refresh rate of the game?
No, I believe if you talk to Mars, he will confirm that apparently they just decided that invisible really did mean invisible and you just could not see the opponent.
Okay. Because I do know that you can sometimes see in Button Torque 6 or like some of the other games where the opponent's invisible isn't blinking. It's like a constant filter or something. I don't know. Does it make sense?
I think I know what you're talking about. They're like kind of transparent.
Yeah.
I think that was in Downward 3, but it was only on your own side, and the opponent would still not be able to see you.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So truly incredible gameplay here, where no one can hit anyone else.
Yep, and they can't move. They're just staring at. Wait, there is still one way for Lucky to hit Salad. You can still use Nap. Another W for Woodman. Ooh, and we are back to max mode again.
So that is an interesting, interesting layering going on there. But Woodman doesn't move the life order, but no one can do anything.
Button Torque 1 is truly the game that keeps him in. it's funny how Button to Opponent is also the only game where the opponent's Mega Man has different shape for some reason.
So taking her 1 inch up and turning nothing else.
Let's see how much value she's able to get out of this interrupt. Nothing. Okay, and that's not screen flashing. My eyes.
Oh.
Interrupt does literally nothing again because I believe Lucky is an ad here. So this is the second time it happens. Truly the great mind games that Button to Opponent provides. Where can you see such action other than a Button to Opponent screen?
Oh, Lucky with the mind games. A very, very powerful move from him.
Both players taking no chips this time. But at least if you take no chips, then you can still do something to add. And it's actually a pretty interesting feature. I don't think it would work well in any other game.
Expensive, but doesn't have anything solid. It's still flashing.
Oh wow! It showed the hit effect. Did you see that?
It did.
Ooh, Lucky
Ooh.
gets hit. So now movement's going to be more difficult for him. But this is a great opportunity for him to take his own. Oh no, he's sorry against it.
Lucky just taking all the ring zap damage.
Yeah, we saw that earlier where someone ended up being hit by ring zap and was moving a lot because they had no chips. I wonder who it was. I think their name might have been Button to Opponent's great game.
I don't know anyone by that name, playerzero. That's simply lies and falsehoods.
I mean, maybe there is someone who's holding that name. You don't know. Ooh, another area still coming down from Salad, and she is able to put down that remove it, so she's going to try to
She's able to. No, the entry is tragically low for remove it 1.
Yeah, fortunately, you pretty much need to put it at the back row or behind something to allow it to survive. It literally has like 15 HP or something.
Lucky is decked out.
Ooh, that's actually another underrated feature that we haven't mentioned. It actually tells you you don't have more chips, so you can plan your turn accordingly. Very interesting. It is a bit bad because it means you can't add again and you lose access to the 5 extra chips you've taken away.
Unfortunately, the area disadvantage. Lucky can only really hit the Dino Wave if he's lucky.
I mean, he is lucky, but...
He is lucky.
Yeah. Stray Side Wave in chat saying BN1 was somehow ahead of its time as far as BN PvP goes. I'm not sure why you're very surprised. It was very much ahead of its time. It was literally the first BN PvP. Ooh, that ending animation.
Oh. Oh.
Let's see. Oh, wait. Did Lucky connect? I think Lucky got interrupted actually.
It's very unfortunate. It is interesting that the the body burn animation is throwing a mini bomb 1 square forward, but then it surrounds you instead.
Oh. I don't think I've noticed the animation.
Oh. Sound going through the Anubis checkmate position potentially here.
Oh, she doesn't have an Anubis.
She has 2 of them, in fact. Maybe she will be able to get it off into the top right.
still
Oh,
standing.
oh.
He
He's
does
going to
have
body
another
block it.
Anubis, so yeah, he's going to body block it. And during this previous match, during this previous turn, I mean, we did receive a donation from Z Christmas for $15 saying, all my love to the NWGP crew, wins the Battle Network 2 tournament with a /S. I'm not sure what that /S do, but for Battle Network 2 tournament, then might be closer than what you expect. It's like 10 years, 0 to 15 years. So that's
Oh, Lucky walks into the body burn. That's unfortunate.
And Lucky is running out of chips, so he really needs to take some defense. His HP is looking very low, and Salad still has a lot of recoveries in hand.
Oh. He does have the life aura though, so he is impervious to these buster shots at least.
Ooh, Salad has still 2 chips to deal with that life aura and 2 of the Anubis, so it's going to be very difficult for Lucky to make a comeback now.
Oh!
I actually didn't know this is how it works.
Lucky goes out on his own terms, so he is the moral victor here.
That's very true. He is also playing W's, and fun fact, this match was the only game he's gotten a win at. So he didn't get a single game win all of this time. But unfortunately, that does mean the end of this stream. Or the end of the final match, I should say. So all good things must come to an end, unfortunately. And obviously, Battle Network 1 is the best of things. But the day must go on. And with that, I do want to say that there is a plan for Battle Network 4.5 stream to be happening potentially soon. So if you are interested, take a look at the changes that Gregor Master has made. It's all very interesting. And we do have a quick question in Twitch chat saying, from Cobra Rage, asking, do I need to complete the game to get all chips before I play in Tango? And good news, you don't. So we have 100% files for every single game from Battle Network 1 to 6, and you can just use them immediately to play. So if you aren't familiar with the game at all, then it might be helpful to check out the tutorials or something like that. But otherwise, you can just jump on right away. We've had plenty of people who had literally 0 experience with Battle Network who are doing very well now. But yeah, with that, before ending the stream, I do want to give a quick shout out to all of the donations that we've received today and since last week, or the previous stream, just 2 weeks ago. So thank you for Entitlers, then Rad, Hatter, and then Z Christmas for donating this. I mean, it was a Battle Network stream, so to be honest, I'm not sure what I was expecting in terms of people watching, but thank you everyone for sticking around and watching. I mean, that was very greatly appreciated. We actually had 10 participants this tournament, and I believe 2 of them managed to complete all of the matches, and 2 others were very close playing the rest of their matches as well. So, very well done. Thank you all for joining. As for the credits, so thank you everyone for watching again. Huge shout outs to all of the players who participated in the tournament, as well as Salad, who worked very hard on this tournament layout and these fancy transitions, as well as Weenie for the unexpected joining of casting with me.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully we'll see you all again soon with the Battle Network 4.5 tournament, and enjoy the credits background music selected by Salad. Have a good day. Good night.